Hey everybody, welcome back to Mary Bird's Backyard Garden. I'm Jeff.
And I'm Mary.
And we are back again, folks, for another Backyard Adventure podcast.
Which episode is this, Jeff? I have gotten confused along the way.
Oh boy, you were going to ask me that.
Oh, I asked you because last week I had the wrong number.
I'm thinking, let's see.
Season
21.
2.
Season 2, episode 21.
21.
That's where we're at right now.
Wowzers.
Crazy,
I
isn't
like it. Yeah.
I know, that's pretty cool.
That is very cool.
Now, now you got me checking to make sure I didn't miss one. No, I think I'm in order. We're in order. It is 21.
Are you the
Episode
one that
21.
gives it the numbers, or does
It tells me what the last one was, but then I still have to put them in.
Okay.
So,
episode 21.
21. So we're back. And then
I love it.
We've had a little bit of an eventful week this week, I would say.
Wow.
I think we have a little bit of a hodgepodge for you guys today.
Oh my, yes.
Yeah. Well, let's start. Let's just jump into it and ask Mary what's new in the garden this week.
Our garden is growing so beautifully. Oh, wow. Gorgeous.
It looks good.
It's green.
Had a lot of compliments on it.
Oh, that's very sweet.
We've had compliments. We've had some folks over, and everyone that's has come over has complimented you on your garden, Mary.
When I look out the window or when I look into the garden, I see all the things I need to do.
I know you do, but everybody else comes over and they see it as a really nice garden.
Things.
So,
and I'm really, really glad that they enjoy it.
yeah, I think
that's what it's for.
It's very nice, and we can sit back there now and enjoy it too. I know you see all the holes and stuff, but
do.
Nobody else sees it but you. Not even me.
No, that's apparently very true.
No. Yeah. So that's good stuff. So what else you got going on there?
We were so lucky. We had some friends come over this week, and we had a dinner party.
We did?
Well, a get-together. And I got to use the onions that we grew in our garden in the recipes. And I was thrilled to do that. And you know what? We put those onions away by freezing them.
Mm-hmm.
It worked great.
Good.
They were so easy to dice to put in the recipe. I was actually quite surprised about that.
Yeah, it came out good. And tell everybody what that recipe was, Mary.
It's called ropa vieja.
That's right. It was very good.
Translates to tattered clothes or old clothes.
That's did you know that before?
I did.
No, you did know that. Okay.
I did know that.
All right.
Yeah, it's a Cuban recipe, and the reason it's called that is because you shred the meat into the sauce, and it turned out. Really
it was a hit.
Good.
It was a big hit, and used some of your own stuff from the garden, which is pretty cool.
That fabulous.
And we did show them our potatoes, and they were excited about that.
We had 2 Yukon Gold potatoes that I grabbed up really fast on the way in the house,
which was pretty cool. I think they were very impressed, I think. And then we found out.
I hope everyone enjoyed it.
I think they did. And we found out a couple of them now make their own butter.
I know.
How crazy is that?
Did you?
Didn't know that.
Did you get them to tell you how they did
it? I think they put it in a blender, and I don't know. I didn't get the whole recipe, but evidently it's pretty easy to do. So they're making their own butter. I said they make their butter. We have potatoes. We have onions. We have herbs. We have corn.
They are excited about the buttermilk that they get. And you and I would have to put it in a baked good because I don't really drink buttermilk.
I'm not a buttermilk guy.
I'm not a buttermilk guy.
But anyway, it was fun.
We could put it in pancakes.
We could. We could. It was fun using stuff from the garden.
Yes, absolutely.
That was kind of a neat thing. I know you like doing that. And we've been doing that more often now that things are growing.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the corn to pop out.
The corn, our 3 sisters' garden is, yay, it's popping up.
Yeah, it's doing good.
Has tasseled. I did see one ear back there in our little, I don't know, how many corn stalks do you think we have? We don't have many.
3 or 4 maybe, something like that. Maybe more than that.
Maybe a little more.
Yeah, not a lot.
About that much. Probably about 4.
Yeah.
And I did see one ear of corn back there.
Cool.
But this is a really new experiment that I'm thrilled about.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I'm a corn guy, so I'm ready for it.
I'm not sure if it's a human eating corn. It's called the dent corn.
Oh, okay. Maybe not.
But if, we got a package from Renee's garden, and it was called the Three Sisters, and these are just what was in the seed package. But if we give it a try and this works good, we get our feet wet, so to speak.
Kind of fun.
Next year we'll put in some more corn.
That sounds great.
I know. Corn is such an interesting plant because it really has to have close proximity so that the silks can deposit the pollination into the ears to form the corn cob.
Did not know that. Learned
so
something
they
today.
Kind of have to grow pretty close together, I think.
Okay. Well, we'll see. It's looking good. Everything's growing well. So the Three Sisters are emerging.
They're starting to put beans. I've harvested some beans from them already.
You have.
And our yard-long beans are, now that it's getting to be hot, they're taking off. They are really filling out. I haven't seen any blooms on them yet, but we have some planted along the fence. And there's a couple of the okra that have decided they are very happy and they are going to grow like crazy.
Oh, man. They're the attack of the okra again.
Okra.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll
We have to harvest it better this year.
Some of those last year got to be like huge.
They were huge.
They were a little too much. They were kind of scary looking.
But what else? What else is new this week?
What else? We had a new visitor in the backyard.
Oh boy!
Well, an old visitor that came back again. The skunk was back. This time he was actually. So I was shocked. So I did not know this. They can squeeze through the smallest spaces, and we have a deck on the back, and it's pretty much sealed, except there was one tiny, tiny spot, and that is where he went.
Maybe, how big do you think that little spot was?
Like 4 or 5 inches, maybe, or something. It was tiny.
It was tiny. It
was not big. No. And that was like lengthwise, height-wise, it was only a couple inches. 2-3 inches. But anyway, we didn't know they was there until the dogs obviously had been going crazy down there, and then you could smell them. Yes. So he sprayed, but he was underneath, so he luckily he didn't spray the dogs. And but that's a tough one. That's a tough one. Tried to lure him out and stuff.
I think previously we had talked on the podcast that we had come out one morning and we had found these little holes all throughout the yard. And we didn't know what it was. And some people in our neighborhood had posted that they suspected an armadillo. But the people that we hired to come out and trap the skunk.
Yeah, and trap and rehome. Yeah, it was the skunk.
It's the skunk.
I think the armadillo makes bigger and kind of more of a mess. But I think it was the skunk, actually. We tried, we tried to lure him out, and but they're not coming out.
The reason that he was going across the yard and digging those little holes is the grubs, the Japanese beetle grubs.
Yeah.
So,
and we put down beneficial.
Well, I'm going to talk about that in a little bit.
I'm not going to steal your thunder.
But we have applied some beneficial nematodes.
Yeah.
And so
hopefully that helps with that.
Yes.
So, we did humanely have been able to remove the skunk. So that was very good.
It was so interesting what they trapped him with.
It's called a skunk trap.
But what was the bait?
Used fruit and marshmallows.
Yeah.
And it evidently worked. So
it loved it.
It's kind of crazy. So hopefully that, I'll have to make sure that little tiny areas put some screen down there or something. That was the only area he could possibly have gotten into.
Wow.
And that's crazy. So
that is crazy.
That was an adventure for a couple days because the dogs were laser focused on that area.
and of course, all this activity happened the very morning that we were going to have the dinner party.
It did. Of course it did.
Of course, why not?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't it? And that was a crunch. That was kind of a crunch.
Yeah, yeah. So we kind of had to make do for a day or so until we could.
We kept everybody inside.
Yeah, it worked out good though. So yeah, we've got the corn growing. We've got the skunk out there. We got him taken care of. What else you got?
Well, you were talking about something scary. You said was kind of scary. What do we have in our kitchen that you think is scary?
Those mushroom things are freaking me out. I'm not going to lie to you.
My son sent me a mushroom growing kit for Mother's Day.
Mm-hmm.
It actually took me a while before I really got it started. I watched video after video from the company, and, it's something new. And you're right. It is something that is out of my range. I had never thought about doing that before. And so the kit raises blue oyster mushrooms.
Mm-hmm.
And Jeff and our daughter, every single day, like 5 times a day, those things are scary. They're growing.
They come out, they stay, and I think we maybe have talked in the past, but they, they're in the box. You open a part of the box, and then you moisturize, put some moisture on it. And then it starts growing. But it's really like throughout the day now, it's starting to like get bigger and bigger. And it is freaking me out. It looks like an alien, some kind of an alien fungus coming out of something. It's weird looking. I'm not going to lie.
It is an alien fungus.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie.
The gills are beginning to be very noticeable.
Yeah.
Now, it's getting a really interesting look to it. And I've never cooked with them, but we'll give it a try.
Oh, boy. I'm going to let you try.
I'm not sure that Jeffy would like to do that.
No, I'm not sure I'm going. They just, they're weirding me out. I'm sorry. I know they're the same thing. You go to the store, it's just different. It just seems to me different. It's a very strange looking thing. And it's big.
These kits are very interesting because this won't be the only blue oyster mushroom that sprouts from it.
Oh, boy.
It should probably sprout maybe up to 3 times after you harvest each one. And then you could actually place it in your garden and it will continue to
I'm probably going to be okay when it's in the garden. It's just weird that you grow it inside, like, on your counter.
Well, it wasn't really taking off. And then one day we picked up some fried chicken, and the bag that the chicken came in happened to have holes cut into the plastic. And I was thinking that might be a really good humidity thing. So we had a chicken bag over the top of it for a long time.
But that made it like really take off.
It did.
And it's gone crazy.
Yep.
That's the first thing I look at every morning. It's like, oh my gosh.
I know. They're very weirded out about it. This is interesting. This is interesting. An adventure. Thank you to our son for giving us an adventure.
Yes, absolutely. We got a good talking point, and now every time I go in the kitchen and look at it, just eeks.
The company is North Spore, and I do believe they're from Maine. And they have several varieties of mushrooms and a lot of videos out there.
Yeah.
So I did not have the courage to start it right away until our son said, Mom, how's the mushrooms growing? And then I had to be honest. I had to tell him
but now
I had not started it
yet. It's going, and we send him pictures every single day now. And I did send him a picture and said, hey, this is freaking me out here.
That is so funny.
It is funny.
That's very fun. I do believe that they get to be a good size.
Oh, boy.
It says that you're supposed to harvest it before the cap becomes flat, and they are a blue color. And so every day I'm watching them, and I'm trying to determine, is the cap flat? Is the cap rounded? What's happening with the cap?
Well, you know what? If nothing else, it is a fun thing just to have for that part. I'm not sure I'm going to eat it, but other than that, it is an interesting conversation piece.
Yes,
we'll say that.
I know. I forgot to show our friends.
Yeah, they probably saw the chicken bag and what the heck are these people doing here with the chicken bag? And
I know they did. I know for sure that's exactly
right. That's all right. That's right. If they're listening, now you know.
Now you know what's under the chicken bag.
That's what's under a chicken bag. What else you got?
Oh, boy. Let's see. You know what we got? We ordered 2 more of our Garden in Minutes.
Mm-hmm. The watering system. Yep.
It has worked so well. I'm very excited about it. And so we got 2 sizes that are made to fit better within the raised planters that we have. And then the larger ones that don't fit so well, I'm going to move them back. And now we're going to be able to water 6 beds of Well, 2 of the beds are going to be in just plain on the ground, but the others are raised beds, and things have just really grown so well.
Yeah,
I'm just thrilled about getting that.
That's a good system.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say that is a really, it's not hard to set up. You can put a timer on there and just have it go.
The timer has been amazing.
It's been pretty cool. So I'm agreeing. I like it. So we've got 2 more we got to set up. Okay.
And the really nice thing about them is that they are in a square foot garden pattern. So if you enjoy square foot gardening, which square foot gardening basically gives you a guideline about how many plants to put per square according to the growth habit of the plant. And it makes it more fun, that way, a little bit more. You're not as... like I did plant a little bit haphazardly this time before we got the Garden in Minutes. But now that I have the grid system, I'll be able to put like 4 lettuces in a square or 16 carrots in a square, things like that. And it just kind of makes it more fun.
Cool.
So, I like it.
I know you do. Anything more of what's new in the garden?
Let's see. Do we have anything else? Oh, I think we hit our talking points.
No, I know. We had like a varied week this week.
Yes, we did.
A lot of different things going on. So
we had a Grandy stay with us.
We did have one of the grandsons stay. We had a little dinner party. Had a skunk. We had a lot of stuff going on if you look back on them. Jeez. A lot of fun stuff, though. Keeps us on our toes.
Yeah, it does.
Well, if you don't have anything there, then what's your topic of the week?
Well, I just have bits and pieces of a lot of topics this week. I wanted to tell everyone about an unexpected, really positive thing that happened over the winter. Last year, I talked to everyone about the Chili Pequin, or Chiltepin, I think is another way that I talked about it. Anyways, the Chili Pequin is a pepper. It's very, very tiny. It's called a bird pepper. The birds do love to eat it. It's a capsicum annuum, and pequin comes from the Spanish word pequeño, meaning small. And it's a native to Southwest Texas and on into Mexico, and grows really well, like on our limestone outcroppings. So that's enough for me to really, really love it.
Yeah.
It's a member of the Solanaceae family, which is potatoes, tomatoes, eggplant, and all of that. And the Chili Pequin usually is grown as an annual.
Oh, okay.
Okay. But we had 2 Meyer lemons last year that were in containers, and I had thrown a seed from one of these Chili Pequin packages, and it grew. And so during the winter, I was trying to protect the Meyer lemon, and we moved those containers into the garage. They really didn't get any water, nothing. And that stick of the chili plant lived in the garage all winter. And so this year I moved them out, and I transplanted them into a little bit larger container. And I had pulled the Chili Pequin pepper out of the ground, and the root ball on it had to have been probably 6 inches in diameter. It was pretty extensive, and I was surprised. So all I did was I took this bare stick of a plant with the root system, and I jammed it back down in there with the newly planted Meyer lemons. And it remained a stick. You know, and I came close maybe 6 or 7 times to just chopping the thing off and throwing it in the trash. But I kept saying, I'm going to wait. And then you and I got busy. And of course, we traveled. I forgot about it. And so while I was working out in the yard last week, I just stopped for a moment, and it took me by surprise. This thing has flourished.
Wow.
It's covered in leaves, and it's beginning to bloom.
That's cool.
It's going to start setting its peppers. So I'm so thrilled that I was able to overwinter this plant.
That is, especially since it's supposed to be an annual.
Usually grown as an annual.
Interesting.
We have some that grow in our back border that are reseeded every year. They don't actually come back from the parent plant. So they always start out as very small plants, and they grow quite large over the course of the growing season. But this one is already, I don't know, 1.5 feet tall by 1.5 feet wide. He looks like a little shrub.
Yeah, that's neat.
He's gorgeous.
Okay.
I'm very thrilled about it. And I just wanted to tell everybody, gosh.
Well, there's a way to
keep your pepper from year to year if it's one that you really enjoy.
Very interesting.
The stem on it is very, very woody, which is, I was kind of surprised about that, because usually our peppers, we don't overwinter them, and the stems don't get that hard look to them, truly. But anyway, the Chili Pequin on the Scoville heat scale is probably 30,000 to 60,000 units. And that is 3 times as hot as a jalapeno, as your average jalapeno.
Did not know that.
Per that little tiny pepper. I mean, it's like a quarter of an inch. Yeah. They're so little. Huh. That's why the birds attack this plant. You know, they love it.
Yeah.
They're so good for salsa, hot sauces. I think Cholula brand uses the Chili Pequin in their recipe, along with some other peppers. You could pickle them. You could dry them or powder and grind them to put in your recipes. From my growing experience, which is, pretty short compared to others, they tend to like some afternoon shade here in our climate. Not a lot, because peppers really perform the best when they're in the sun.
Heat,
But actually, they're not really that fond of the heat like we have.
That's surprising.
They're really good producers in our shoulder season, which would be sort of the end of spring and the fall season. But that really laborious, hot, humid summer, they don't produce quite as well.
Okay.
But given some shade, maybe, I don't know, like a 40% shade cloth over them or something like that, and they will do well.
Well, we're going to have to pick them and use them this year.
Yes.
I don't think we used them last time.
Actually, I found a recipe. I'm excited about.
Okay.
I can't give you the recipe, but you can find it. It is for a salsa.
Okay.
And you can find it at centraltexasgardener.org. It's called the Chili Pequin /Teppan salsa.
Okay.
It sounds delicious.
That would be good. We like our salsa, so that would be a fun one to try.
It only uses in here just the smallest amount of the dried peppers, which...
Well, if they're that hot, that makes sense.
Yes. I know, right?
Wow. Okay, cool.
And, yep, that's what I have for the Chili Pequin.
I like it.
He is my
another farm to table plant that we have, as I'm going to call him.
Plus, it's a beautiful plant. Mm-hmm. The leaves are so tiny on it, and they're just as cute as they can be, you know.
Okay. Cute plant.
It is a cute plant.
All right.
Well, this year I kind of had another little chit-chat point. Right now, we're really seeing the Japanese beetle, also known as the June bug, and it is June, so we're beginning to see the bugs.
Time. It's their time. Their time to shine.
You know, these insects are like so beautiful. I don't know if you've ever looked at one.
I have, actually, yeah.
I know. They're gorgeous. They're iridescent.
They are iridescent. They got a straight. Yeah, they are.
But they are kind of a destructive.
And they're pretty, because they're pretty good size, too. I mean, they're beetles, but they are pretty good size. But they are kind of, when the sun shines on them, they're kind of a cool color.
They do have a cool color. They actually eat and skeletonize a lot of our
absolutely
plants and stuff like that, which is sad, you know, being so beautiful. Their botanical name is the Papillia japonica.
Okay.
Yeah. And Edward Newman first described them in 1841. And so they've been around a long time.
Okay.
And what we also know them by is the white curled up grubs that you find in the grass and in the soil.
I didn't know that.
That is their larval.
Did not know that. Yes.
Larval stage, I do believe they're grub stage. Most of their whole life cycle takes 1 year.
Okay.
You know, and most of their life is spent in that white grub type form.
We always, well, sadly, we see those when we're digging.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they have kind of a brown head.
I didn't know that was what they turned into. That's very interesting. Okay.
So they're actually only above the ground maybe 1 to 2 months out of the year. And the rest of the time, they're in the form that eats the roots of grasses and, you know, other things.
Okay.
And I think it's just that there's such a large population of them. I think that's where we run into a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
But I was going to tell people that there are some things that you can do. Now, we did this year. I'm quite excited about. We did apply our beneficial
nematodes. That's the theme of our stuff.
That's right.
Yes.
The variety that I'm going to really destroy this botanical name.
Okay. I'm
very sorry. I apologize ahead of time, but Heterorrhea habitatis.
Okay.
Bacteriophora.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's the specific beneficial nematode. Okay. And you apply them in warm weather. And so that is, you know, good. Some other steps that you can take is you could go out and on your roses and some of your other flowers, I think they really like daylilies and cannas and things like that. So on those flowers, you can find the adults. You could either hand pick them or you could try to knock them down into a basin of soapy water. And so that's one avenue to kind of intercept their egg laying. So they lay their eggs close to the soil. And what happens is the Japanese beetle comes out of the soil and they mature and they put out a pheromone. And that draws lots and lots of others that come to where that first beetle is. And so if you will have a large population, you can do some of these steps to knock them back. But if you have veggie crops or, you know, sometimes farm-to-market gardeners use this step, maybe. They use kale and spray. And I purchased the brand called Surround this year. I haven't used it yet. I haven't got out there and used it, but you could use those on your peaches and plums and apple trees. And what it does is it kind of causes the adult not to be able to chew on the leaves and things like that. And you could use it on your squash. You could use it. It is a OMRI listed organic preventative.
Okay.
And so that's one thing that you could try. And one of the biggest, what do I want to say? One of the biggest things you could do for the grubs, this is going to take you several years, but it will be very effective. It's proven effective, is to use the milky spore bacterium. Paeina bacillus is the botanical name for it. It comes in a powder form, and you put it down specific times of the year, and it will increase its effectiveness over time. And I do believe once you have it in the ground for those like 2 to 4 years, then it lasts for a certain amount of time, and then you would apply it again.
Oh, okay.
But what it does is it will infect the larval stage of the Japanese beetle.
Oh.
Yeah. And you can also apply, which is widely available, Bacillus thuringiensis, which is called BT. And I know you could find that almost anywhere. If you have, it's kind of hard to put that over a really wide area, though. So probably targeted. I don't know about that exactly. But
I can't believe the grubs turn into this still. I
You're
honestly
still blown away.
Like no idea. I just thought grubs were grubs. So
oh, no.
I'm shocked that that's what they turn into. Because I can see that there's a lot of Japanese beetles then at that point. Yeah. Interesting.
Although we've been having, I believe, less of them.
We have,
over time. It just surprises me because we have, Texas is not a desert, but it's also not lush like you would expect in the eastern United States, right?
Right.
And we have a lot of juniper. We have a lot of oak trees. We do have grasses. I think maybe the grasses are the reason that the Japanese beetles flourish here,
could
possibly.
Be,
But it surprises me that they do really well in our environment.
Always, definitely have a lot. But that's interesting. That's very interesting. Yeah. But we have the nematodes out there working right now. The army of nematodes have come in.
Yes.
We're going to see if they help us out.
And I do know one of my garden centers, I've used the milky spore bacterium in the past. One of my garden centers does carry a product that has that in it. And yes, I think that it has been clinically shown to work, to be very effective.
Nice. Very good. Learned something about the grub and the Japanese beetle today. Very interesting. That was very interesting stuff.
Different insect discussion, right?
It's a whole world back there in that backyard, Mary.
Let me tell you something. That is the most fascinating thing of all.
You love it. Oh, cool. Very
but
nice.
I will tell you not to do this. Was it last year? I think it was last year. I was working in the garden and I had got myself a little jar and I had put soapy water in it. So every time I would find a grub, I'd drop him in there. Well, we got busy and I accidentally left that jar out under some of the shrubs. Don't do that. Oh my goodness. It stunk so bad.
Oh.
It was awful. But I had to get rid of it. So that's it from me.
But the soapy water works.
If you put it in the soapy water, dispose of everything quickly.
There you go. There you go. Okay, cool.
And so we've come to that time
that wonderful time of the podcast.
The wonderful time of the podcast that we all wait for.
I wonder what it could be. Hey, it's Jeff's Corner. Mary, I got a question. I always do this to you.
Again? Okay.
when we were traveling, and we've talked about it here on the podcast, we saw all those where they grow rice.
Yes.
And that's actually called lowland rice.
Okay.
So that has to grow, in a wet, it's a long grain, a wetland variety. Did you know that you can grow rice right in your own backyard?
Oh, wouldn't that be fun?
There is a rice. It's called
Duborskian
rice.
What is it?
It's Duborskian. Okay. It's a Russian short grain dryland or upland rice. It's a highly ornamental plant. You can grow them in containers.
I'd love to do that.
And evidently they make a very nice, pretty plant. Mm-hmm. It gets to be about 2 foot tall, has gold panicles. And you can, like I said, you could put it in a container. So here's the thing. So we could actually grow these in the backyard, which might be interesting.
Which I would love to do. I'm writing it down right now.
Okay, I see you're taking notes. So it takes about 10 plants to produce 1 pound of rice.
Okay. Oh, what if we could eat our own rice?
You can. Gosh. So if you were talking about a square foot garden. So if you have say each plant is occupies a foot of garden space. Mm-hmm. So a 10 by 10 foot would hold about 100 plants, which is about 6 to 10 pounds of rice.
Oh my goodness.
And isn't that interesting?
That would be amazing.
So you can get the seeds, you can sow them right in the garden. You want to do it in May, June, in the frost-free. So now's the time.
May or June.
If you want to do it other times, you got to start them indoors. So you got to do a nice 24-hour water soak before sowing. It'll help with the germination. And then you want a nice sunny spot, obviously, where you get a lot of, got to have compost. All the stuff that you have, a nice generous amount of compost. You want to fertilize it every 2 weeks with a balanced all-purpose fertilizer. You want to space them about 1 foot apart, like I said. That'll help the circulation between them. They need to be pollinated by wind. And then, we have that covering. You would have to, I think you'd have to cover them because the birds, I'm assuming, birds would probably be all over these things. But somehow, some netting would help that. Mm-hmm. But you can grow them. I mean, it's amazing. You can grow them right in the backyard. I did not know that. I thought they only grew one way, to be honest with you.
We need to go look this up and give it a try.
Yeah. So they take about harvest 100 days, 105 days.
Okay.
You can harvest them. And they're ready when the seed heads appear to be dry, but they haven't yet dropped their seeds. And then you cut the plants down to ground level, hang the stalks up for a few days to dry further. Mm-hmm. And then you remove the rice from the stalks, and you have to. They have a outer shell. They have a hull. Mm-hmm. You got to remove that. So it's not an easy. The big farms, I think they have machines obviously that do that.
It would be a learning curve.
But it's an interesting thing. So you can, and I would encourage you. There's there's a million resources out there to learn about it. But I thought the interesting part is that you could actually grow these at home, because I thought they only grew in what we saw as a wetland. But these are called upland rice.
People do grow rice in wetlands, but there is a author called Fukuyoko, and he did show that you do not have to grow rice underwater, and thereby you would, I think sometimes they try to grow it underwater in an effort to eliminate some pest pressure, but he showed that you could have the same ability to grow rice, and I don't know what variety he was growing. I'd have to go back and reread, but he was able to do it without having people wade in the water.
Interesting.
But anyways, yeah.
Well, these are short grained. They're not long grained, so these are short grained dry, and they need to be short grained dryland or upland rice.
So, the rice that we make. What does Greg make? They make the rice dish from Italy. I'm trying to think of what it is. I think it uses a short grain arborio type rice. Mm-hmm. What is that dish? It's not polenta.
Oh, gosh.
You know what I'm trying to say? No. It makes that creamy rice and Parmesan cheese. I can't think of it right now. But anyway, I do believe they use a short grain rice.
Okay.
Oh, interesting.
Okay. But it's a whole process. So it's more of a fun process. So, you have to separate it. You got to hang them. You got to dry them and all that stuff. So it might be a fun little thing to try.
I think we should do that.
Just to kind of see how it works out. And I don't know. Sounds pretty interesting. But I did not know that you could do that. I really thought that there was really one way to do it. Mm-hmm. So there it is. Jeff's Corner. Grow some rice, everyone.
You always surprise me.
I try to come up with something. I try to quiz you or come up with something that you don't already know.
Well, you have
that's
done
very
it
hard
today.
to do.
You were successful.
All right. Well, A+ for me today.
A+. A++.
Cool. Well, that's all I had on mine. What else you got for us?
Thrilling. Okay. I am very excited about learning about that. And I'm going to go look right away in my Baker Creek Seed catalog to see if they have.
There you go.
You'll have to write down
Duborskian rice.
Duborskian rice. Baker Creek Seed catalog actually carries a lot of heirloom type varieties if anybody's interested in looking for unique seeds. Mm-hmm. And they always sprout for me very well.
Okay.
Well, the one thing that I was going to talk about today, which is very interesting, and we are giving it a try. I think I mentioned it last week. We have planted a shrub in a baseless container. Mm-hmm. Now, in full information here, what I did was I actually took a cloth grow bag and I cut the bottom out because that's what I had on hand and I wanted to get this shrub growing. It's a photinia that we talked about last week. Anyways, I learned about growing in baseless containers, and this is kind of separate from your raised garden bed containers because those are baseless too, but from Bunny Guinness on YouTube. And I have watched her for several times. And what she does is she takes these humongous terracotta pots and she drills out the bottom of them. And then she'll plant shrubs or trees, small trees. She plants all kinds of stuff in them. And they're long-term containers. This is nothing that you're going to be moving anytime soon. And the reason why this is exciting and I'm enjoying learning about it is because the roots. Now, if it's been growing in a container for a long time, I don't know if that taproot is going to shoot down into the soil or not. But the roots can grow out through the bottom and they'll anchor the plant. So when you get heavy winds and stuff like that, the plant has something to hold on to. And it's more stable and more sturdy. Also, it can get more nutrition from the surrounding soil. It could go out and look for water if it needs to. Also, the baseless container, which you just chop the bottom off of a container that you would like to grow in. I mean, that's what they are.
Yeah.
They provide improved drainage. And so if you put your feed on top of the container and you water it down through, you won't lose that feed, whatever, like compost or whatever you're going to feed your plant with. It'll kind of come out into the surrounding soil and the plant still has access to it, which is nice. You can also use it to create a feature in your yard, something beautiful that the plant will accentuate the beauty of the container. They'll both balance each other out. Topiaries are really good specimens for a baseless container. And we're doing it because I don't even think we have an inch of soil.
Yeah, no, we talked about that last week. There isn't, you couldn't I mean, dig down, and there's nothing to dig into.
There's no way you and I could dig. We'd have to hire someone to come in with the equipment.
Stuff, yeah.
Anyway, so this is providing us with an easy way to put up kind of what it is I want a screen that's going to keep our dogs from barking at workers for our neighbor's home. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if you would call that privacy screen. It's not really for privacy.
Not private. Yeah, it's just
it's more of a barrier.
Yeah, barrier. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I'm really getting excited about it. I can't wait to see how it works. And this way, Jeff and I are able to put 1 or 2 shrubs at a time. There's another spot in our yard that we have had to remove roses from. We have one more rose that I need to remove, and then maybe we could try this over there and see if we could get that hole filled in.
Okay.
But I'm really excited about trying this.
Yeah, so the one you put out there looks good. Mm-hmm. I think we got to get the others. To fill that area out. But yeah, I like it. Hey, I'm not going to lie, it's a lot easier than trying to dig a hole through the grounds that we have.
You can actually grow all the way up into the tree, the size of tree. And I was actually thinking, it wouldn't be bad idea to plant like this with a tree that might shade our back porch.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Your container could be any size that you want, really.
Okay. I like it.
Anyways, so this is our first experiment with a baseless container.
Okay.
Baseless planter. I'm getting really chuffed about it.
Okay. I like it. No digging for me, so I am thrilled.
No, I mean, I sat on a chair. I had my little cloth bag that I was going to put him in. And later on, if we want to make it more decorative, we could cut the cloth away.
Yeah.
And we can put whatever we want around it. But to start out with, I think this is a great idea.
Yeah, it looks good. I like it.
And I planted the shrub while I was sitting in a lawn chair.
Can't beat that. You can't beat that. Yeah. All right, cool. Well, I know we're going to go out and get the others, so we'll.
Yes, there's a coupon at one of our garden centers that we're going to take advantage of.
Coupon. Okay.
This is coupon time.
Okay.
Now, probably, do you want to say, you are going to have to monitor your watering, especially because it's in a cloth situation right now. I'm going to have to really keep up and monitor the watering and not let it get dried out.
Yeah.
And that's probably my one caveat or one cautionary note.
All righty.
But other than that, I'm pretty dang excited.
I know you are. That's awesome.
It's another way to plant. I love that.
I do.
And so that's the end of that topic. And all I have is now looking forward to next week.
And I think you've already covered one thing. We'll get some more of those shrubs for you to plant.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yes.
And then, here's the thing. And I know you got more stuff. We seem like every week we have some adventure in that backyard. There's a skunk, a squirrel, or something. We got all kinds of stuff.
Okay. Recently, I know we talked to everybody about how the Roadrunner came and sat on the deck while Jeff was on the deck.
Yep.
Right? But did you tell them what it had in its mouth?
It had a giant lizard.
Whoa.
And we have a lot of lizards.
That thing was huge.
We have lizards that are so big that when you sit on the porch and you watch them go through the yard, I mean, they're they're big.
They're huge.
They're really big. They're cool to watch.
They're chubby.
Yeah.
And they are.
And he had a big one. He had a really big one. So yeah, you never know. I mean,
you never know.
Who knows what's going to happen this next week?
And actually, when the dogs were out there the other day, I thought they were probably chasing a lizard.
Yeah,
because that's their highlight of their day.
And they do chase. They never catch them.
They never catch them.
Let's be honest. They catch absolutely nothing. They're the worst hunting dogs
ever. And sometimes they're sitting right by the lizard and they don't even notice it.
Nope. Worst hunters. They're greatest dogs and the worst hunters, which is good. I mean, I'm happy they're not hunting everything.
Me too.
But they're really bad at even attempting to catch.
That's funny.
Oh, sorry. What else you got for next week?
Oh, for next week, we're going to the garden center.
Yep.
Love it. I have a coupon. For buy one, get one free herbs.
Okay.
Look out. Here we go. But I wanted to tell everybody, this is when you need to start prepping for your fall garden here in Central Texas.
Oh, my goodness.
So you need to remove in your little garden all of the spring plants that have now gone over, which I need to get out there and do right away. You know, I've noticed in my raised beds that the soil has gone down in my raised bed gardens about, 3 or 4 inches. So I'm probably going to need to add some more soil and mulch, here in Texas, conserve water. Now, I don't know what I'm going to be doing about that mulch too much because we do have our garden grids and I don't want to block the holes.
That's true.
But we'll have to think about that a little bit. But if you're in a place where you have different type of watering situation, you want to add that mulch, especially around newly planted fruit trees and things like that. That's a good idea to keep them hydrated. And we do have 2 new plum trees that are doing very well this year. Quite excited about that.
Okay.
This is your perfect time to get your sweet potato slips planted. I found a couple places online that did have slips, but if you don't want to buy a slip, you can easily create your own by placing a sweet potato laying in a small tray of potting mix and keep the potting mix moist. Pretty soon your sweet potato is going to sprout and you could break off the little sprouts and put them in some water and they'll grow roots. And that is a sweet potato slip.
Oh, okay.
So you plant each of those out into your garden. And sweet potatoes are actually a really good green for us to eat during the hot weather months. And there's lots of recipes out there for them. So get your sweet potatoes planted, and then they will grow and grow and grow and grow until you could harvest them like 3 weeks before Thanksgiving.
Oh, okay.
And you'll have your
there you go. Got
sweet
your
potatoes.
Thanksgiving potatoes already
Get your
done.
sweet potatoes for Thanksgiving.
Very nice.
You need to give them time to be out of the ground a little bit so they'll develop their sweetness. A flower that I'm very interested in planting some more of this year is called celosia. Celosia is a flower that you love. Okay. But you probably don't remember it.
Yeah.
Another name for it is coxcomb. Okay. It has some varieties have these big, giant, wavy heads, and they're filled with colorful, individual little flowers all along that big, giant, fan-like head. Okay. That's where they get their name from. And they come in lots and lots of colors, and they're a very good, hardy, reseeding plant for our area. So I want to look for some of those. All right. Don't forget to move your zonal geraniums that we talked about last week into some light shade. I did that, and it's paid off already. Yeah. So, and the one thing I'm definitely going to be looking for when we get to the garden center is canna lilies. So I think I'd like to plant some more canna lilies this year. Okay. They come in such a wide variety of plants, wide variety of leaf color, and really showy blooms. And every time we go by them, you always say, "What are those?" But you probably never remember them.
I don't remember any.
They could be, you can get them short, but you could also get them tall. Okay. And depending on the variety that you select, read on the package. And they'll bloom for you all summer. Very good container grower.
Okay, there you go. Looks like we're in for quite a trip here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get ready.
I got you.
Got my coupons ready.
Oh, yeah, coupon. Oh, boy. All right. Sounds good.
And I have reached the end of what I have for today.
I don't have anything further. As usual, we appreciate you guys tuning in to Mary Bird's Backyard Garden.
Definitely.
Just get out there. Get out there and do something. Move around.
Enjoy.
That's the key, I think, is moving and making sure you're out there and get outside and enjoy your garden.
Absolutely.
Until next time.
Happy gardening.
Happy garden. We'll see you here same time, same place, same Mary Bird Backyard Garden channel. Bye.